But anyways, so Austin, right? That was the last race. Yeah.
Yeah, my first race back into the sport.
Yeah. How does it feel to be back, Steve? It's been a while. Have you missed us? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I feel like I've missed so much. I mean, it's literally like I was watching like a sitcom or something, and then like you missed 5 episodes, and then you get back in, and you're like missing like all of like the inside jokes and everything, and nothing makes sense anymore, and you're like, wait, what the fuck happened? Like.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, you missed all of the peaking of McLaren. Like, holy cow! Like that's wild. And then we have 2 DQs in the race. But I mean, before we get into any of that, I mean, the most important thing is we need Michael's Mad Minute. So
Yes,
Michael,
I missed this.
Without further ado, take it away.
Hey, what's up? They're racing in Texas. If you're women in Texas, don't go there. AlphaTauri, Yuki Tsunoda, you got P10 to go work. Daniel Ricciardo in the garage. Bad luck. Haas, they were also there. Yep, they were there. And they race cars sometimes. Alfa Romeo, bad time all around. Williams, they got into points, which is good for them. So well done on their part. Alpine, Gasly, he got in the points. Good job. Ocon in the garage, not so good. Stroll, got in the points. Good for him. Alonso got in the garage. They don't deserve him. McLaren, Piastri, as just poor luck, feel for the kid. But Lando, P3, good shit. Or is he P2 now? He's P2 now.
It was P2, and the signs is P3.
Yeah, it's speaking of which.
Got shuffled.
Ferrari, both drivers did well, and Charles wanted to punch the strategist until they got disqualified for running their car too low. Mercedes, Russell got in the points, good job. Lewis, mega drive, also disqualified because they ran their car too low. And then Red Bull, Perez did some work, and then Max Verstappen remains Max Verstappen.
Killer of joy.
Killer of all joy.
Killer of all. Well, while we're on Max, it was a sprint weekend, and I found his quote on sprints to be kind of hilarious.
Okay.
He said something along the lines of, now that the sprint has taken place, everyone more or less knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Exactly.
No shit, Max. We already know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yes.
Like,
the sense of anticipation is done. Yes.
The rest of the quote is along the lines of, you're not sure what car is going to be quickest. It takes the magic away. Max,
yeah, exactly.
You've taken the magic away all season, Max. Like,
yeah, but
we don't need the sprints for that.
He took the magic away in like a conventional, understood, agreed upon manner.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's not proving his point about sprints at all to me, because it is what it is.
Well, sprints are dumb.
Well, sprints are garbage in general.
Agreed.
So like he's correct, but the way he's like communicating it is not right. And yeah, he's using like essentially not a redundant statement, but almost like a statement that doesn't justify its own existence. Because like if the sprints didn't exist, we'd still be in the same situation, just like you said. You know what I mean?
But I mean,
yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Sprints are just a reason to raise the prices of FP3 tickets. That's all it is.
But can we make a mandatory pit stop or something? Like make some, like they need to do something.
Well, you do reverse grid.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's reverse grid.
And that's kind of what I get. I sort of get what Max is saying in his like borderline autistic way, is that like if you're going to have
if he wasn't winning every race, then sure.
Right, but I'm just saying still the idea of if you have both of them essentially start and function exactly the same, except you just have less laps, like you're essentially just giving them insight into what race pace everyone has and everything like that, unless people are sandbagging because they're not going to be in the top 8 or something like that. But that's the only variable that you have at that point. Whereas if you were to do something like reverse grid, or do something along the lines of like reverse the championship standings, like something like that, that could be something to where you make it a niche thing to where it doesn't give insight because it's so different. And also the one thing that James Hinchcliffe, the IndyCar commentator that they bring in for the freaking North America races that I'm not super fan of. But anyways, neither here nor there. He did have a good comment, and I think that this would help, is that if you required a pit stop and then also you didn't lock down Parc Fermé because of the sprint. Like if you actually were able to use the sprint as if it were an FP3. So like you have FP1, you have the qualifying, and then you have the sprint, but then you can still adjust your car before, say, qualifying of the or say you do qualifying and then you do the sprint qualifying and then the sprint, and your setup doesn't work out the way that you wanted, you can still adjust your car, but you're still in the position you were in your original qualifying position, but you have the ability to maybe adjust your race pace or something like that for the actual race. Or you eliminate the qualifying for the Grand Prix happening before the sprint, and then you go FP1, sprint shootout, qualifying, and then sprint, and then qualifying Grand Prix. Like at that point, you would essentially be able to utilize the sprint as a, training tool or, a metric to be able to understand how your car is doing and actually do something about it. Right now, you can't do anything about it. So that's where I get what Verstappen's saying is like, once we see what they do in the sprint, that's what they're going to do in the race, because they can't change anything because they're in Parc Ferme at that point.
Yeah, and I agree with him.
Yeah.
But it's just ironic that he's the one saying.
Oh yeah.
Saying it.
Well, I mean, if anything, I feel like that's almost a good thing, because if he's winning, you don't want to. If it's not broke, don't fix it kind of mentality, right?
Yeah.
But have you seen sidetrack real quick? But Mexico's coming up. Have you guys seen that Acon's car is stuck at the Mexican border?
No, I haven't seen that.
I don't see
Oh my
that.
God, you should check into that. And we won't get into that too much, but.
Is he trying to smuggle drugs into Mexico?
I don't know, but their car was detained and we don't know why, so they may not have their car for the race.
Oh, shit.
I'll look into it right now.
Okay. But yeah, getting back to the race, I mean, it was a good one. I mean, it's good to see Mercedes and McLaren both, keeping pace. And even though there was the low riding and the boards getting overly worn, which was crazy. Like when you sent that message over Discord, I thought you were joking. Like I thought it was something you were just.
I
like,
thought it was a
messing
joke
with me.
too. So I was like, I need you guys to confirm this. Like, what the hell?
I had to Google it twice, and then I saw them DNF at the bottom or disqualified, and I was just like, holy cow, it is real. That's wild. It's so wild. But what are your guys' thoughts in that whole situation? Do you think the way that they assess that is fair, or do you think they assess...
Absolutely fucking not.
No?
Because
Elaborate.
they check Lewis's and Charles' car, but they didn't check Carlos's and George's car. How do you check one car from the same team, don't check the other car from the same team? It makes no sense.
That's fair.
Like, I understand sample size, but if you're gonna DNF one driver, how do you not make sure it's not the entire team cheating, not just one side of the paddock cheating?
That's true. I mean, if you do, it's almost like if there's smoke, there's fire situation. Like if you're, if you're
gonna find that shit out, then fucking be thorough.
Yeah, but if they were to test Charles' car and it passed, then you don't test Sainz. But if you test Charles' car and he fails, then you should test Sainz' car to make sure that he's not.
It just makes logical sense.
I agree.
So that conversation came up during the Mexico FP1, and they were talking about the same thing. They basically said the same thing Michael just said, but the reason is because it takes them half an hour each car to do that measurement. So they took two. And then they were like, okay, both of them didn't pass. So then they were like, let's go check two other ones. And it's more so just to check their data, and it's more so just to be a threat. It's not really supposed to be like a, hey, look, we're watching you guys, so don't do this again. That's what it's supposed to be for.
But like when you find a car, the shit changes though.
But I mean, at what point do you DNF? Do you DNF all the drivers, then you have to do the race over again? Like,
I mean, if all the drivers are found to be in violation, then yes, you DNF all the drivers.
You're
DNF all the drivers that are in violation.
You're talking to two guys that come from accounting auditing.
Accounting and auditing. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as soon as you start to like find that thread,
Right.
you pull
As soon
at
as you
it
find
until
you find one same mistake, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
is this mistake? Is this a one-off, or is this a trend? Or is this a trend of mistakes here?
Yeah, exactly.
And
but
that's
they
yeah.
have money to make, and they can't DQ everyone. So that's what I'm saying. It's more of just a like, hey, don't do this again. And look, guys, we're checking cars. Like,
I don't think other teams would be cool with that. If I was a team's principal, I'd be like, that's some horse shit, and you know that's horse shit, and you're all full of shit. You don't agree to that kind of nonsense. It's like, if we're gonna have rules, let's go by the rules.
okay,
Yeah.
but let's say
It's like the the gamesmanship's not getting caught. If you get caught, then you get fucked. That's the fact of the matter.
Okay, but let's look at it a different way. Hamilton got second, but then Russell got last place. Let's say they check Russell's car, and Russell Russell doesn't qualify. He gets DQ'd. Do you want him to? Do you want them to DQ Hamilton still?
No, you check Hamilton's car, and if Hamilton's car is out of bounds, you DQ his car. Yes.
I'm just saying though.
Yeah,
saying.
He's consistent.
No, it's just like if we're gonna do, let's do it right.
Okay, yeah.
He's
just as long as you're consistent.
I give him
yeah,
that.
no. If Mercedes is fucking around, then you punish them.
Then go find out.
If Haas is fucking around, then you punish them. It doesn't matter what number on the grid you are. The issue is when you look at a handful of cars and you're like, we found a couple of cars that were not within bounds, but we didn't check the other cars from the same manufacturer. No. Also, they're manufacturers, either by. Which just makes it. The
other thing, though, why I think it's okay is because the drivers all run their own setups.
I mean, the driver has dedicated engineers who recommend setup stuff on sometimes a corner-to-corner basis. It's not quite
right,
that.
But maybe Russell can handle a higher ride height than Hamilton or vice versa, or whichever.
But it seems like there's a rule to that anyway. It doesn't matter if they can handle a lower. They can handle a lower running car if the rule is you can't run it that low.
Right.
It seems like the rules they ran it too low.
Because it would take them too much time to measure is what the FIA is saying. They didn't do more than the 4 cars.
Yeah, that part's agreed. That part's agreed.
You basically have 20 cars that all have different setups, regardless of who the manufacturer or who the team is.
And they have more than enough money to pay people to identify every single car after every race. They have the capital for that. They just choose not to use it. They literally have stewards who are volunteers who don't get paid at every single racetrack. Yeah. That's just greed.
I would be one of those volunteers.
I would not. That's free labor.
Pick me,
my
coach,
time's too valuable. My time's way too valuable for me. So
I will be there.
Yeah,
all right. I'll watch it from here. So
we need Michael. We need you. You're the hero we need. So you need to
go
volunteer.
Give me a salary, please.
Michael's the Joker. He's like, if you're good at something, don't never do it for free.
Don't do it for free. Exactly. Yes.
But I mean, I see all the points, but I also, at the same time, I'm okay with the decision. So,
if it's like if you want to be a sport, then be a sport. It's like we have enough sports who are led by people who are full of actual garbage. They can do better overall. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we can raise the bar a little bit in terms of sports overall.
So that's the other thing that came up during the FP1 is they were saying the reason they didn't check more cars and the reason they picked Leclerc and Hamilton is because they have sensors that are giving them data that they can check, which pinpoint and saying, hey, these cars are hitting the ground a lot more than these other cars.
We should check them.
So then they go check them. So that also goes into why they don't check other cars because the data doesn't. They're really just validating their data. And if the data matches, then they don't have to check the other cars.
They need to be more transparent about that. Because it's easy to be like, oh yeah, they hit the ground more. How? Shut up. That's how. It's like they need to be more transparent about that data. Then that's the case. Because I don't think they have been, have they?
No. Agreed. Well, but that's why they check 2 other cars also to validate their data.
They should show everybody what prompted that to begin with, and this wouldn't be a discussion.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's true.
It'd be like, hey, these cars are the rule is set. They run this minimum height. We have this data that shows these cars we're bottoming out much more than these cars. See this trends, and that led to us to identify these cars. So it doesn't justify looking at the other cars too, though. Just to be sure.
No, it does.
At least
because
the same
that's
team.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is because they check their sensors and they're like, okay, the sensors are right about these 2 cars. Let's check the next 2 cars that are close, but they're a little bit higher. And those ones were fine. So they're like, our data is accurate. So
I can understand that, but if I was running that, they'd be doing some different shit. So.
I mean, at that point, it's SOX compliant, so I gotta get with them because you're doing completeness and accuracy from a standpoint of like you're validating your data and making sure that what you're seeing is like those numbers you're seeing, what they actually mean, and then you can apply that across the field. So like I get that as well.
Yeah, I get it, and it's defensible if they show what data prompted that, but also I'm like, but also you should probably look at the card too while you're at it.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
just to be sure.
That's the thing; they got bigger problems than the ride height of the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Like the
yeah, but at the same time, if you're gonna DQ someone, that's a pretty big
DQing is a big deal. Especially when it's on the
DQing
podium.
from second place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DQing a podium is a pretty big deal.
That
You
is,
gotta be thorough.
that is a big deal, but I think an even bigger deal is the fact that you have someone like George Russell taking advantage of like the 5-second penalties and things like that. Like he's going off track and passing people on a regular basis, and like he's not getting penalized anything more than like a 5-second or a 10-second. Like I think they need to reassess how they penalize people, because right now the teams are able to gamify their penalties and basically have them not be as impactful. I think
they just have to reinvest in the technology of the sport. It's like there is nothing that should stop all these circuits from being in these cars to be wired up to be able to tell in corners where you can get an advantage by going off track if they stayed within the lines or not.
Well, IndyCar literally has sensors on the side of their track that the driver knows instantaneously when they've gone out of bounds. Like they know immediately.
It's like if they're gonna have two wheels on the track, then you have just on the wheels. You understand this corner. If one of these two tires was on the edge, and that corner is invalidated.
Yeah.
It's like they have the money to do that if they want to do it. It's greed and laziness. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I'm all for like setting up the outlap, or not really an outlap, but the penalty lap, where they have like a section of the track that comes out and then adds more time to the lap.
You mean a Joker?
Yeah. Joker
yeah,
lap.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because I mean the MotoGP
then that standardizes it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you went off.
Well,
like,
and the thing,
they kind of have a drive-through penalties with the Joker though.
yeah, but the drive-through penalty is too egregious, so that's the problem. Is like a
Yeah,
drive-through
it's
penalty
you need
at
some in the
pit
middle.
speeds is like 28 seconds or whatever.
I mean, ideally you do like a personal VSC. It's like, hey, your delta is now this for the next couple seconds.
Yeah.
Like it's an iRacing. It's
Well-
like, hey, you get an iRacing, like you gained this many seconds. You must slow down this many seconds in the next 30 seconds, something like that. So you do a VSC.
what if they even had a Joker lap? But then if the person behind them was within 1 second, they still got DRS while they're on their Joker lap.
Yeah, if they can set like a Joker lap and have that be the delta that they have to follow,
Yeah.
like a VSC, then they could work.
Yeah.
You just have to put in the work and do it right.
Well, the race YouTube channel I was watching, and they covered in depth the idea that the penalty is broken, and one of the things they were talking about is that NASCAR actually does a really good job of like when they have their road courses, if you cut the chicane, they actually have a section that you have to actually like pull off and start like stop and start your car again, and like that's truly like what they were saying. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like NASCAR has figured it out, and like it seems to be the best one, because MotoGP, you don't lose a lot of time, but the thing is that you have to do that Joker lap within 3 laps, and like that's the thing, is like in F1 they're being given this like giant span of time of like either they serve the penalty in the pits during a VAC or an actual safety car, or or they serve it when they have to stop anyway, so it's really not that big a deal when you really,
Or they serve it post race.
or they just haul ass and put 10-15 seconds between them and the person behind them to make sure that they don't lose their position.
And the Joker lap would also like fuck your strategy.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
then you got more tire wear.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any time for that lap
Yeah.
that you can measure because it's gonna be fucked.
Yeah, you have heat
Like-
cycling on the tire, like you have all sorts of things.
What do you
that are
do
gonna
about
fucked.
fuel though?
What?
What do you do
Again,
about
that's
fuel?
part of the strategy. That fucks your strategy.
I'm
I guess you just have to be like, okay, more left and coast, I suppose, at that point.
yeah. I mean, I think
that,
there's a way to
that
do
could
it.
work. If it fucks their fuel, that could be.
I mean, they would probably have to push to do the Joker lap. They were like, okay, you gotta do a Joker lap in 3 laps. So they got 3 laps.
How
to
do
put
you
up, to,
how
to
do you
cut down
Joker
as
at
much
Monaco?
time. Well, I mean, the Joker lap was one of our ideas at Monaco, I think.
Yeah,
If you go back to the recording.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
but
actually. You're right.
I don't think they want to. I feel
To
like
make
they.
Monaco more
I feel
exciting.
like they don't want to take over any more of Monaco than they have to.
I could see
Yeah,
that.
maybe street courses would be different.
It's like
but
it's like I
circuits,
wonder
actual
how you
circuits.
talk to the Monaco City Hall about how we want to take up some more of your streets. They're like, actually, no, you can't. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do then?
Honestly, I don't think Monaco would mind. They want everyone to come.
Yeah, but it's like if they say no, what do you do? At that point, it's a drive-through penalty.
Then you get your wish, and we don't have Monaco anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if that works out with not having Monaco anymore, I guess that works out.
Michael,
I'd
killer
benefit
of
from
fun.
that, so.
Michael's
No,
like,
can't
all
have a
right,
casino."
Joker lap. Joker lap.
I'm
Let's do
sorry
it, guys.
That, like passing.
It's
during a race.
He's just picketing. Joker lap. No, I'm with you, Michael. I hate the fact that whatever's qualifying is basically what the race is, unless there's something catastrophic or rain.
Unless Ferrari shoots on their own leg, yeah.
Yeah, Monaco in the rain is fun though. I'll give them that.
That was neat. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, with Austin though, I mean, it just
Good race.
It was a good race. I mean, it was a bummer to see those two drop out. And I'm curious. So here, my question to you, Michael, is: do you think that Mercedes' development is still fully valid, or do you think that it might not be as far of a step forward because of the way they're riding the car?
I feel like they're still the same, which is they're probably still like the third best car in the grid.
Okay.
And they're probably going to be even farther away next year if Red Bull has all this time to develop next year's car, because they probably stopped developing this year's car probably around fucking July, maybe earlier, depending on how confident they were in their car, because they were so far ahead. And while Mercedes is trying to figure out if they figured it out to begin with, Red Bull's just getting better. It's like the graph is getting worse, if anything.
Yeah. Well, and you got at least Sainz doing top 5. So that was good.
Yeah, I mean, it seems just like Ferraris eat tires. It seems like they have a quick-ass car for 80% of the race. So,
do you think there'll be a shift to the Red Bull McLaren body style next year?
Yeah, they're all going to do that.
You think that's just what it's just going to be a variation of that
the board.
Body style across the board?
Yeah, the teams who don't do that are going to be idiots. Yeah. That's going to happen.
I'm thinking so too.
They're either going to be idiots or they're going to be geniuses. And no middle ground there. So yeah.
It's going to be the early 2000s all over again, where everyone
they'll either
looks the same.
Yeah, the people who don't do it will either not give a shit anymore. Mm-hmm. Will try some shit and it failed. Or try some shit and it's fucking incredible. So that's what's going to happen.
Yep. I see that as well. And I think that's the case. And I mean, and have you heard the rumors about Checo potentially retiring? Do you think that's going to happen this week?
No.
There's all this. Go ahead.
I don't know, but if he told me he was tired, I believe him.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That's the thing is I don't know. I don't think he'll do it. I mean, if he was going to do it, he might do it at his home race, but I don't know. There was a weird video on the Oracle Red Bull YouTube channel. It's like why we love Checo, and it's just very much like a tribute video that's kind of just very oddly timed. Either they're trying to convince everyone that they're not trying to get rid of his seat, or they're trying to say goodbye. I don't know. It's
I saw that posted, and I was like,
through 2024 though.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, sure. Until they just say, actually, you know what? Take the money, go the fuck away. Which, if that happened tomorrow, would you be surprised? But let's say Saturday, Checo.
Actually, if it happened tomorrow, I would be surprised because there would be a riot in Mexico.
Okay. Never mind, you're right. Okay. But the way they posted that video, my first thought was, they're sending that goodbye party pretty early, aren't they?
Yeah.
If they were in anywhere but Mexico, and if Checo crashed, he'd be out of that seat by fucking Monday morning. That's without question.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious that he's the solution and they're the solution. They're both the solution. It's obvious to anybody who's watching that thing unfold.
Yeah.
Because it's the most interesting thing happening this season. Let's be honest here.
Basically, the only kind of silliness that's potentially going to happen for the off season.
If they didn't legitimately fear for their lives, Checo would be out of that seat if he did something wrong this weekend.
Yeah.
But since they legitimately fear for their lives, because they didn't, Max wouldn't have bodyguards right now.
Yeah, because if they fired Checo right now, we would see an effigy of Max being burned.
Oh,
tomorrow.
They're setting one of the Red Bull trucks on fire. That's what's happening.
Yes, dude.
There's gonna be arson, and they understand that. They're not fools.
Well, have you seen the YouTube short of Hamilton on the podium last year, and the entire crowd starts to boo, and you just see Checo in the background go, and they all stop. Literally, the caption is Checo being an awesome dude or something like that. And it's just they all start roaring with boos, and you're just
if they were in any country other than Mexico, they would not care about cutting Checo this weekend if he's fucking around and not doing his job.
Yeah.
His job is to finish top 4. He has not been doing his job on a consistent basis this year, and he has the misfortune of having a seat that is coveted. So if he does not continue to do his job, he'll be out of a job come January. If he continues to do his job and finishes P2 in the championship and finishes top 4 in the races, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Which is kind of what I've been saying all year.
Yeah, you can't fire someone who finishes second in the constructors.
But also,
he's 40 points away from losing that though to Hamilton.
Yep.
But also, if he does fuck around, they'll fire him Wednesday instead of Monday once they're out of the country. So
they don't want to pay the airfare to bring him to take him out of Mexico.
No, they want to get out alive.
Yeah, no.
Let's be honest here. They want to get out alive.
Yeah, they're more worried about
No,
their
they
cargo.
will. But I'm just saying they don't have to pay for Checo's airfare.
Yeah, just leave him there.
So this weekend he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But if he wants to keep his job come Wednesday, he needs to keep putting that car where it needs to be. So
yeah, I agree. Well, it'll be a good race, and I mean, hopefully it's just another repeat of last week. I'm just glad we don't have another sprint because God, I hate them so much.
There's also, at least someone in the car tells us that F1 is a Checo fan. They know that for a fact. So
wait, what?
At least just by the numbers principle, someone in the cartels is a Checo fan.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So they really don't want to fucking get on this fans' bad side this weekend.
No, definitely not. It's definitely one side you don't want to be.
They do not want pesos. They do not want pesos that are alive on their fucking head. So,
or they do want him cut so they can get a new driver.
Yeah, again, once they're out of the country.
Right. Oh jeez.
But okay, so I kind of chatted with Jeff about this during the race. But Michael, if Mercedes pits earlier, does Hamilton win?
Yes. If Mercedes pits earlier and they pit better, Hamilton wins.
Yep, it was close.
Because Hamilton would have gotten DRS too. At the same time Max got DRS, and he would have probably caught him by the last lap. He hustled him the entire time. Watch his onboard. He was on Max's ass for laps and laps. It was really impressive to watch. And I think Max was also having brake issues at the same time as well. So,
but that brings me to this. One of the theories I heard is Max is having brake issues because they adjusted the car so it doesn't have as much downforce, so they wouldn't wear out their board.
maybe.
Hamilton's speed was because he had more downforce because he was running lower.
Potentially. I'm not an expert. I can't even begin to assess if it makes sense to me, but also I have no clue what I'm talking about. So I can believe it, but I also don't have to understand aerodynamics enough to assess if that's true or not.
I think, to me, it makes sense, but I also don't think that that's why it does play a part in the degradation of the board, but I don't know how much.
If Max was having brake issues, Max would have won by more. So.
But I think because Max is such a late braker that his brakes will heat up faster without the downforce. So to me, it does make sense. I thought he was an
earlier braker, honestly, but maybe he was different for this race. I wish telemetry on our side was better, that we got to see the full brake picture, but we don't for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
I thought Max was
I'd love to see.
I
would love to see like a virtual printout of their brake and throttle lines or across a lap. That'd be lovely to see.
Yeah.
Who's braking later? Who's braking earlier? Who's but.
Yeah,
they don't give it to us.
Verstappen,
because the teams have it.
Yeah, Verstappen is a late breaker. That's why him and Hamilton tango so much. Is because Hamilton is a late breaker as well, and that's why they're both so good in the wet. Is because they're able to make their tires work, and they're not afraid to go hard into a corner, whether it's wet or dry. So yeah, it's definitely a thing, and like that's just it. When we talked initially, like I was in agreement that I think he would have won if he pitted sooner, but after watching the race again, I kind of went back on it because I still think that I think Max was managing what he needed to manage at the time, and I think if they had pitted sooner, if Mercedes had pitted sooner, Max just would have had to like actually hustle the car, and like unless he made a mistake, that's the only way that's the one scenario. Like I think there would have been a situation where like Hamilton might have may been able to pressure him into a mistake, and that would have been like the thing. But on pure pace, I don't think, because they were just so fast. Like the only reason he was catching at the end was, I think, because he was losing he's losing his tires and his brakes, but he still was managing it to the standpoint of like he knew what he could give up and still be good for the end of the race. Like a lot of people are like, analysts are like, he wasn't managing the race because he would have kept at least 2 seconds between. At a minimum, he would have kept 2 seconds between him and Hamilton. And since Hamilton got within the 2 seconds, their thought was like Max wasn't in control of that situation, which he might not have been. But I just, from the way I looked at it, like I don't know. I think it would have just gotten to. I think it went from being like first, second to where it would have been like first, second. Like it would have like they would have potentially been like dragging. Like if it was what people are saying, like they could have been dragging at the end. But like it just. That Red Bull pace just seems insane.
Yeah, it
From
is.
that Verstappen radio, it didn't sound like he was managing.
Well, yeah. I don't see. It's hard to know which is the theatrics.
Not in the braking,
oh, yeah.
please.
That was pretty funny. I watched that. Like I watched that. I was watching it for a while. I was on board. And I watched that radio interaction happen.
Dude, the first time it happened, I was like, dude, that sounds so freaking like just like a little kid. And then like he did it again. I was just dying. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's like so like concentrating and like not in the braking.
I don't know why either, but like when I heard it too, I also heard like an Arnold accent, like not in the braking, no.
To be fair, that's the most difficult part about racing. So,
right? No, it
getting
is.
the car to slow down in a timely fashion.
Well, 100%, but still, just the way he was relaying it, and then also at the end, like they've already talked and they're like whatever, but it just sounds like GP's like, all right, fuck off, I'll see you Friday.
It's seriously, it just sounded so panicked. It's like I said in the chat. It's just like when you're driving somewhere new and you can't find it, so you turn off the radio and like anyone talking, you're just like, shut the fuck up. I can't find this place. Like.
Your talking is the reason we're not finding this place right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't see while my ears are hearing.
That's well put. I'm gonna use that someday. Oh shit. Well, anything else you guys from the race that was noteworthy you can think of?
Leclerc's freaking entitlement. Did you catch that radio message?
Oh, he was so fucking mad. He was so fucking bad.
Yeah, he had to let signs by, and it's like, dude, he's already a second and a half ahead of you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Like, you're being a bitch right now.
He was so fucking like, what the fuck do I have to let him by? Actually, I'm gonna wait. I have to raise the curse to you guys out about that because that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
He believes he's in one driver, still, without question.
No, bro. Sainz has been kicking your ass all season.
He thinks his loyalty gives him special privileges, I feel like. And
it kind of does, though.
It does to an extent until, like, the better driver is on your bumper. You know what I mean? Like, sorry. Like, you can't argue time. Like, sure, you're the good also, soldier, like, but come on.
Didn't his strategy team fuck him, though? I didn't look into that deeply, but it seemed like his strategy team fucked him at the same time.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been on a one-stop. Like, that was, Connor Moore did a skit about it. He was like, literally, he was like, talking to Carlos. He's like, we'll do a two-stop. It'll be perfect. Great plan. And then it's like, Charles, we're going to do a one-stop. It'll be perfect. Don't worry. And then he's just like, he's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on? So, like, yeah, I would be mad if I was Charles, too. But it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like he's almost breaking or cracking to the point where he's like, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to take Carlos down with me.
Yeah. Yes, dude. It's like, dude, you're not, like, if you're not keeping the pace, like, let your teammate by. Like, you're just going to, you're not helping the team out.
I guess Charles felt like, if you're going to fuck me on strategy, at least give me the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, then keep pace.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, if you're going to actually slow down your teammate, like, what's the point? But, yeah, no, I feel for him, but I felt the same way. I was with you, Steve. I'm just like, there's no world that he has a leg to stand on. Like, what are we even talking about right now?
You just sound so entitled right now.
Well, and then like they're like talking about changing the strategy. He's like, Plan C is ruining my race. I'm like, well, then why haven't you changed what? What? Like, I have so many questions.
Well,
like,
he was like, it's too late for Plan C. It's too late.
It's entertaining at least. I mean, for
Yeah.
us, like, sucks to be him, but like, it's really funny to
Yeah.
watch him melt down on
No,
on
he
race
being
day.
him is probably pretty. Being him is probably pretty okay overall.
Oh yeah, I mean, he live in Monaco full time and just like race a Formula One car on
Also, is a young
on and
millionaire.
off weekend. Yeah, exactly. What is his? Is it his aunt? What's his? Who is it? Which one of his relatives is like super big in like fashion or something like that? Is it?
I'm not sure.
Anyways, never mind. Tangent that don't need to go on, but yeah, we'll see what happens in Mexico this year. I mean, Sainz is he's a favorite around there, so he's out qualified Leclerc the last 2 years, I believe. So should be interesting. But
The other thing I found funny was that Lance Stroll was left off all of the F1 posters in Texas.
yes, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, dude, what's his name?
Felipe Drugovich.
Dragovich, yeah, he was on all of the F1 like driver
That's pretty
posters. Yeah, they did a Twitter post. I think I put that in chat. Like they literally, it was like a Twitter post that was like, "Is this foreshadowing to next year?" or something like that.
So what do you guys think? Is it foreshadowing, or did they just fuck up? Like, how does that happen?
I think it's because you have so many issues with Stroll being out for like practices and stuff, and like I don't know, it could have just been as easy as like the practice driver list or whatever, because it didn't Felipe do FP1 or something like that.
I don't remember.
No, maybe he didn't. But anyways, I don't know.
He's the reserve driver for Aston right now and the 2022 Formula 2 champion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was hilarious, and I hope it is, but I don't think so. I don't see there being a scenario where Stroll isn't racing next year because he likes it so much. But I have to say, like, I don't know if it's just the more we're getting into the industry or whatnot, but like my YouTube like channel or like feed is becoming more and more filled with just like Stroll hate, and just like, and not like unwarranted hate, like people that are legitimately concerned for like the safety of drivers and the fact that like it's not fair that this like petulant child is, I mean, all I got to do is link the Rocket Powered Mohawk videos and everyone's caught up on what they need to know. But like, it's just crazy to me that it's not just him. Like, it was one thing when it was like us, like every race was just like, oh yeah, and then Stroll was a piece of shit. Oh yeah, and then Stroll was a piece of shit. Oh yeah, and then Stroll just ruined everyone's race, you know? And then you got RPM doing his thing, and you know, it's one thing when it's just kind of ragey or whatever, but then it's like just these not no name, but I'm smaller channels, and like other, like even the race has mentioned it, and like the WTF1, like, and they're supposedly like Aston Martin like fanboys and girls, and you're just like, oh my god, at what point do you as the person like start to just be like, I need to just no, like I don't think that my psyche could take that. Like, I don't, like, if all people thought of me of was like this spoiled rotten little shit of a kid who's having everything handed to them and they don't deserve to be in that seat, like, I don't know if I could handle that.
You'd have to care what they think, though. That's the thing.
I would have to literally like not be on any social media and not be aware of what people are saying about me in order for that to happen.
Yeah,
People can go into their shell pretty quickly and just like black out humanity and then ignore that shit if they want to. I can see him doing that.
Yeah, but that's a lot of, I mean, I feel like he's got to pay like high 5 and 6 figure salaries to filter out that kind of fucking tar.
I'm sure he's good for it.
Yeah, I'm sure he is too. Yeah. Did you? I don't know if you didn't see it, Michael, but I just bought Roman. I bought Roman the Charles Leclerc storybook, which is like the Charles Leclerc story of the no good Monaco Grand Prix, and then I bought fire safety tips with Lance Stroll, and it is the funniest freaking book. Like,
it would have been more accurate if it was fire safety tips with Romain Grosjean, but that's fine too.
Yeah,
sounds like we're gonna have story time on the podcast soon.
We kind of need to, I think, because it's freaking hilarious. Like, literally the beginning of the book is like talking about like Lance Stroll doesn't endorse this book. He doesn't even like know this book exists. Like, he doesn't, like, these are not actual like fire safety tips. Like, these are just jokes. Please relax. And then it goes into the books, and like one of the safety tips is like, when you're trying to put out a fire, stack your gold bricks in front of it. And then like one of them is like, when all else fails, use daddy's money.
Yes, dude.
It's so good.
That's pretty silly.
It's pretty good. I'll send you guys some. But anyways, it's a good time. But
I have 2 things left.
yeah, all right.
One of them is I want to know Michael's thoughts on the tire strategies. Like Norris going back on hards on lap 35 and Max going hards on 36. And then the last thing I have is there was no Will Arnett and Danny Rick commentary.
Well, Danny Rick had to drive.
That was scheduled.
Well, Danny
I
Rick
know,
was
I
kind
know,
of busy.
I know. But what are the chances that they didn't? They just decided not to do it because it sucked the first time.
It's high probability. Go ahead, Michael.
I'm trying to find a tire strategy,
ahead,
so talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, cool.
So I'm seeing they started off on mediums. Max went medium hard, and Lewis went medium hard, medium. Let's see. Tsunoda went fastest lap, and that was pretty funny. And he got it, and that's pretty cool.
That was pretty good.
Good for him, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary is weird, apart from both Alfa Romeos went medium hard. I'm not sure why that was. Everything else seemed pretty fine.
So I was thinking.
Though clearly the one stop, and yeah, they fucked him there. Apart from that.
I was thinking Max was going to run those mediums way later than lap 36 and then switch to softs at the end.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't ahead like that. If he wasn't having brake issues, he might have done that. But this race, he had to really be on it because Lewis was on his ass. So
Yeah. I'm hoping we have that this weekend too.
that'd be nice.
And then what was the second
see.
one?
It was the Will Arnett and Danny
Oh,
Rick.
I wanted to. The one thing I was
Commentary.
thinking is that, yeah, I think it would have been interesting if it was a hit. If it had been a hit, they would have gotten someone else to stand in with him. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
what I was thinking too.
they don't let something like that die if it actually was generating any kind of eyeballs or revenue. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, well, maybe someday we'll get maybe they'll do Liam Lawson and Will Arnett at Vegas.
Maybe they'll do Will Arnett and Danica Patrick.
I can see it.
Can we rage about that a little bit? Like, I have a serious problem with the commentators in the Americas. Like, I fucking hate it. Like, I don't want to hear from Hinchcliffe. I don't want to hear from Danica Patrick. Like, neither one of them are good F1 drivers. Like, I don't know why we care what their insight is. Like, I don't care. Like, I just don't.
Okay,
That's why I turned the TV on mute.
but here's the
It's
thing
easy
that
that way.
kind of gets me is I don't mind Naomi.
No, that's
But
yeah.
everybody I see on like Reddit and freaking like Facebook and all like the F1 groups and stuff, they don't like Naomi.
I
So
know.
it's like I don't understand. Like I think she's fine. I think she was a decent racer. I haven't looked at her history.
She did well in
but-
the W series. Yeah. No, I don't. I think there's just a situation where you can't win for losing to an extent. But like, I don't know. Like just this last weekend, I don't know if you guys saw. They had these guys on there that it's a podcast. It's called F1 Explained, and they're supposed to be these experts that are like explaining all of the nuances of F1 and stuff. And then I hear them like doing an interview, and this lady had no idea what the fuck she was talking about. I'm like, how are you the authority on F1 when you don't even sound like knowledgeable when you're interacting with like the main hosts of the F1 TV show? You know what I mean? Like, it just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very frustrating the more corporate like F1 is getting. And like, I just hate the fact that it's like, no, man, just have it be the host that it's always is. Like, I don't need this extra person. Like, I only want to hear David Coulthard and, what's his name? I forget what his name is. James, the F1 TV commentator. I don't even listen to like the international one with Crofty. Like, I don't I don't like that. I want to listen to the.
That's the one I watch.
Yeah,
that's the one that gets Danica and Naomi.
Yeah, see, I like the F1 TV because usually you have a previous driver, you have an analyst in Sam Collins, and then you have the actual commentary guy. I forget what his name is, but they do a really good job. But then for these, then they add Hinchcliffe, so then you have like 4, or you drop Sam Collins, the analyst who's really knowledgeable, for Hinchcliffe, and I'm just like, it's not worth it. Hinchcliffe seems like a super nice guy. Don't get me wrong, I got no hate for the guy as a person, but I'm just like, there's no real value you're adding to the team that you're joining. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
And I understand like they're trying to get other demos, but like, if you don't like F1, like I don't need you watching. I don't care. What are you smirking about, Michael?
He's looking at Stroll memes.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about what happens if Checo crashes. I don't know what you do.
Dude, they would just rebuild his car and they would let him run the race.
It's the only
just
time
like they did before.
It's the only time that you're allowed to like have your car stop on the track, and then they allow you to restart it in the pits and then go back out.
Yeah.
Like when he stopped racing, but then there was a penalty, so he went back out. It'll just be like he had an accident, they fix the car and send him back out.
Well, then if Checo crashes, then the cartel comes out on the track, makes all the cars stop at gunpoint, and then they kick Max out of his car and put Checo in that car.
Yeah.
And they make him finish the race by himself.
That would be interesting at the very least.
so all the other cars are intimidated into stopping, and Max gets carjacked, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then Checo just runs the rest of the race by himself while all the cars are stopped.
Like pulled to the side.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
It's boy. I don't know what to. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Christian Horner has to sign Checo for 5 more years at gunpoint.
Part of me hope nothing bad happens, and part of me hopes he crashes. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a real Sophie's choice.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, shit, guys. I'm excited.
These normal America time races are throwing me off now.
Right? I never thought I'd be at a place where I'm like, man, if only it was at 4 a.m.
I'm like, dude, it's so late in the day. I don't want to watch a race right now.
Well, it throws me off when football's on, too, because I'm just like, I know Michael, too. Like, he's like, race is over, football's going. You're like, okay, well, can't do anything till about 4:30. But cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as always, everybody, thanks for the time. Like, subscribe. Let us know if there's anything we should talk about that we didn't talk about. And we look forward to Mexico. As always, later, guys. Peace.
Later.